Hey, welcome to today's Antidote. We're going to talk this week about something kind of interesting, and that's leadership. But we're going to spin it a little differently this time. And today we're going to talk about it in a way that I think might resonate with everyone because we're all leaders from time to time. And we're going to talk about that on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I'm well. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day to you as well. It's a wonderful day, a great celebration, and great to be having our conversation on this holiday morning.
And I would say that the folks in the military are leaders in our communities. I have two nephews who are in the Army. They do tough work. I think I mentioned a year or so ago, one of my nephews, he had a baby, and a week later, he was over in the Middle East somewhere for almost a year. That's tough.
Very difficult.
That's a level of leadership and just honor and just abiding by a commitment that just amazes me. And so many others who have given their lives to our country. Same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So welcome everyone to this Memorial Day issue of today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast, where we have a conversation around the topic. As Bob mentioned, he mentioned the topics about leaders. We're going to talk about renegade leaders all week. And we welcome your thoughts.
That's the word I forgot. My bad.
Interesting that that's the word you forgot. Anyhow. So we're going to have that conversation, and we welcome your thoughts and ideas, whether you are watching this on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or...
Did you get them all in the right order? Yeah, you did it in a different order. You threw me, but you forgot the biggest one. LinkedIn Live! And they're looking at me again.
That's all right. Yes, LinkedIn Live is another place where you can catch this every morning. Usually at 8 a.m. Eastern.
Every weekday morning.
Every weekday morning, correct. Usually at 8 a.m. Eastern time, although we have been known to do it at 7 or 10. Or sometimes it shifts around. But you can always catch it on any of those social media channels as well as on our podcast. It is available based on wherever you get podcasts, you can get today's Antidote. And if you happen to be a listener to the podcast, and you would really like to share some more thoughts and ideas, please come join us in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, because we'll be talking about renegade leaders all week in there. And you can share the value that you have around that, because we know that will help someone else figure out how to take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. And so before we dive into our conversation, though, we always start the morning off with celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
There's only one thing to celebrate today, and that's the people that make that sacrifice every day. I was thinking about another person that you and I met that is actually leaving to be in the military this week. And, basic training and all that good stuff. So lots of people around us are veterans. I'm amazed at how many people I meet in the course of my normal month. And it's like you meet 5 or 6 people. It's like, yeah, I served. I did 6 years. I did 4 years. That level of commitment to our country, to our to being that patriotic, just floors me, like every time. So that's what I celebrate today.
Okay, excellent. And I will the same. I'll just focus it specifically on my family members who served, who are now deceased. My grandfather on my mom's side served. All of her brothers, all 4 of them served. 3 are now deceased. 1 is still alive. And so I would just recognize their service. And I think my uncle, who was deceased on my dad's side, also served. And so thank you to them, because those are who we're remembering, those who have passed. And their involvement in a military action or as a part of our military. So we hope that you will take some time out during this day where you are celebrating a day off and remember the sacrifice that has been given so that we are able to have the freedoms that we share today. So now that we have done that, let's dive into our topic. Let's talk about renegade leaders. Do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So we all know about normal leaders, right? That's the person who stands in front of the room, tells you what to do, the person who leads the company. Renegade leaders are a little different. And Tom, you may agree with this, you may twist it, but my thought about a renegade leader is someone who leads in the moment. It could be as simple as I was involved in a situation where I'm typically the leader and the trash needed to be taken out. And there were 6 other people that could have taken the trash out. I took the trash out because it was just easy to do. And someone said to me later, they're like, why did you take the trash out? You don't need to do that. There are other people who can do that. And I said, I understand that, but it was right there. I was right there. I needed to stretch my legs. Everyone else was busy. And I think that's a renegade leader. Renegade leader does what needs to be done. They lead by example a lot. And I think that really helps organizations grow because I want to surround myself with people who lead by examples. You lead by example, Tom. You do every day. You are a leader in everything that I've ever done with you. And it makes me better at what I do because you're such a great leader. And, we're in one situation where I'm the leader and you're one of the people below me. And it doesn't feel that way at all often. It feels like we're both focused on achieving the same thing. Does that make any sense at all?
Sure. No, I think it does. I think it's, I think there is the sort of common accepted role of leader. And I think that and some people can do that extremely well. And I think they're doing it the way they choose to do it. And I think that's part of the renegade leader piece is that we aren't necessarily following standard convention as a leader, is that we are choosing to lead in the way that we believe will get the most out of the people who we are leading and doing it even if we're not the leader. I think that there are a lot of people who aren't given the title of a leadership role who are leaders, just in some regards, in the way that they act, in the way that they speak, in the way that they share, and the way that they connect with those around them, that they see them as leaders. And I think that's the interesting challenge is that, one of the difficulties I think about being a renegade leader is you're doing it in the way that you believe is most effective. And others will look at that and judge that differently. I think there are implied leadership roles, and then there are leadership roles there's implied way to be a leader. And then when people step out of that, they don't follow the status quo. Sometimes it creates challenges, not only for that person and for the people around them. And I think that the challenge is that oftentimes renegade leaders, and not because they are doing something against the organization or in a way that is immoral or illegal, it's just a different way that is not necessarily always appreciated by others who lead them. And so I think that oftentimes renegade leaders can get stuck in the what's, so in your example, well, this is the way that always has happened. Somebody else always takes the trash out. It's not the leader. And you're saying, okay, and I was able to do it. And so I did it. That was what seemed real for me in the moment.
Right.
And I think there are others who would look at that not as leadership, as a failure to lead. That in some regards, you should be managing the people who should know that that is their role and that that's the role that they do. And I think one of the things that I always used to think about as a role as a leader was I usually wouldn't ask people to do things that I hadn't already done or wasn't willing to do. And typically I think that helps others start to appreciate that, in some ways, what they are going through and what you're asking them to do when maybe you ask them to do something. And I think it also allows a really strong renegade leader, allows those people in their team to be renegades as well, and sometimes do things differently, which will help create unique results.
I like that. Yeah, I think the different results are often the issue that comes up when you're a renegade leader, because those different results are sometimes not what the recognized leader was expecting, and sometimes those different results take things a lot further than people were expecting. I've had that situation where I've always been a really good non-leader leader. Like I had a job at one point where I was like second in command would be the way I'd describe it.
Yeah, so you're not assigned the role.
I wasn't assigned the role. And I was really good at just managing the people, managing the process, being able to manage up and all that. I got put in a leadership role in that organization, and it didn't go as well, because then everyone was looking to me for the solutions. When I was the renegade leader, I could offer suggestions and solutions, and it didn't have the weight. They could be considered or rejected, and I also didn't bear the responsibility if they went well or didn't go well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the challenges of following your own unique pathway as a leader, is that it isn't always appreciated or understood. And often because that's not what's real for someone else. I've been in situations where the person who was leading me did not believe that I was leading my team in a way that was most effective. And many of the times was because I ended up doing some of the things. I was a part of the operation, not just someone managing the operation.
Right.
And again, a part of it was, this is the way I felt that I was a part of a team. Just so happened I'd been given a title. And yet I didn't think that excused me from doing some of the things that my team would do. I mean, there were times when, in the work that I was in, nonprofit world and college athletics, my team was working really late or really early. And I could have easily been the leader who showed up 2 hours afterwards and left 2 hours before for them to finish. And yet I believe that this was the team's role. And
Right.
So a part of that was that I was there to be a part of that, to ensure that things went the way we had hoped they could. And I wouldn't say that was always the case, although I think that my team knew that I was there to support them and that I was a part of the team. Just so happened that my title gave me the role of trying to manage the team.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the issue, is a lot of times we look to leaders to be the leader, and sometimes leaders aren't really effective, or they don't have all the answers. I think part of being a renegade leader is going to a leader and saying, hey, have you thought about this? Have you considered that? I had a couple of jobs where that worked really well. And I developed a really good relationship with one of the leaders I worked with. And we got a lot done because we were able to hash out things and figure out solutions that we saw the world differently. And by coming to a common ground, we had some solutions that wouldn't have come about from him or from me. And he presented it to the team. I didn't have a problem with that. It was fine. I just wanted to contribute, and that was a way to contribute, by giving him suggestions and ideas and hashing them out. That to me is part of being a renegade leader. And I think one of the other things about being a renegade leader is you don't always get recognized for what you do. You help the collective whole, you help the team succeed. And at times it can be difficult when that's what happens, when that's how it falls out. Does that make sense?
Yes. I think that, so often the leader is praised, or I don't know what the other side of that would be. Criticized based on the results of their team that they had some role in. They didn't necessarily have all of the role in it. And I think that, those are, and I'm sure we'll talk, and I know we'll talk more about challenges for Renegade leaders as we go through. That's sometimes the burden they bear in that role. One of the things I tried to do was, you all right? Bob's screen went black. So I'm just going to keep going and move forward. I think sometimes it's hard. There you are. Welcome back.
Sorry, somehow a call got through. I don't understand.
All right. So I think that I was just saying that I think that one of the things I tried to do as a leader was not shelter my team from the criticism. I was more than willing to take that on for them, especially if I did not, and I would share with them, here are the challenges that we are facing.
Right.
Here's what I'm hearing. And then so often I would rarely accept the praise.
Right.
It would be a part of this. This was my team that did this. I just happened to be a part of that team. And so I would accept that, as well as ensure that my team was recognized as well, and that we celebrated it as a group.
Nice.
So do you have one thing, Bob, about being a renegade leader?
I think it's that idea that you may not get recognized for your contributions, but that doesn't mean they aren't valuable. And it doesn't mean you should be discouraged from doing it again. And take it from a guy who likes recognition. That can be difficult at times.
All right, fair. I like that. So I'm going to go. Mine is going to be that I think we all have the opportunity to be renegade leaders, and that so often, and I think renegade leaders are people who lead, not always, and usually not, whether they have a title or not. That the title doesn't matter. It's just how they are. And people see them in that role and are willing to sometimes follow them. Again, whether or not they have the title, and that it's not really about the title. It's about the way that we engage, interact, and work with the people around us. And that's why I believe that all of us have the opportunity to be a renegade leader. You don't have a title does not define you as a leader, especially a renegade leader. It is your actions that define you as a renegade leader.
Oh, I like that. That's gold. I like that. Your actions define you as a renegade leader. Yes.
Yes.
That's
Lots
solid.
of people have titles. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are renegade leaders.
Doesn't even mean they're leaders sometimes, even though they have the title.
Correct.
We've both seen that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being a part of our Memorial Day special, where clearly there were veterans out there, veterans and deceased veterans, who were leaders, no matter what their title was. You hear those stories all the time where they stepped up when they needed to, and people followed them because of their actions, not because of their title. So we look forward to continuing to celebrate them today. If you have thoughts and ideas you'd like to share about what you believe defines a renegade leader, we would love to hear it in the comments, or you can go inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and share it in there. And we welcome your thoughts and ideas, because I think it will create a fun discussion about your leaders and what you see. And it might add value to us, and we might look at leadership a little bit differently. And
I look forward to that.
Yes. All right, everyone. So go out and have a wonderful holiday. We look forward to seeing you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Although, don't spend much time on Facebook today. Do something else.
Yes.
We'll see you tomorrow morning. Are we going 8 or 7 this week?
I think it's 7, Tom.
We'll see you at 7 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Oh, Sorry, someone just walked up to my car. Embrace the renegade in you. Totally got distracted by someone who's
saying hello. I like it. All right, everyone. Go out and have a great Memorial Day. Remember those for all that they have done.
No, I don't. Sorry.
We'll see you soon.
He wanted to squeegee my window.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.